Democrats. Today is Wednesday, February 15th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. And it is indeed a happy Wednesday. So where we are, yesterday was election day all over the state. All over the state, there were propositions, school board races. In Oklahoma County, they had a special election for county clerk, but they also had city council races. And in Oklahoma County, I am so proud to announce that Democrat candidates got more votes than Republican candidates. And I'm saying it that way on purpose because we know that it's not only Democrats who vote for Democrats and Republicans who vote for Republicans. There's some crossover and some switcheroo. But Democrats, the Democratic candidates in Oklahoma County got more votes than the Republicans. That's a big freaking deal. Democrats in Oklahoma County showed up big time. And that's what we have to do all over the state. That's what we have to do all over the state. We have to show up. And it is true, what I've said all along. When we show up, we win. So we got to show up. It's truly that simple. We got to show up in numbers. We got to cast our ballots. We can't just sit at home and be mad at who gets elected. We can't just be keyboard warriors and talk about it. We can be keyboard warriors and we can be mad, but we have to back that up with actually showing up to vote, be it by absentee ballot, early in person, or on the day of. We've got to all show up. Every time that every time your precinct is open, you need to show up. You need to have cast a ballot, no matter how it is that you want to cast that ballot. Now, in some of those races, it was a primary, and we're moving on to April election. So please keep that same energy and show up, because now it will be Democrat against Republican, right? In this, in the primary, there were multiple Democrats, all that kind of good stuff. So right now, where we are, we've got to keep that energy. We got to tell our friends who didn't vote. We got to keep our friends who did vote energized and mobilized and ready to go. I'm so excited because we're making some ground. Now, I can be very proud of the ground we're making, but I have to be a realist. In Enid, the man who it is documented was at the Charlottesville riot. Jews will not replace us. There was a guy who was at the Charlottesville riot, a guy who helped organize the Oklahoma participants in the Charlottesville riot, ran for city council in Enid and won. So in Enid, on the city council, they elected a guy who was at the Charlottesville riot because he had an R in front of his name. That's the only reason. He never denied that he was at the riot. He never denied his racist behavior. I'm not calling him a racist. I don't know him, but that was racist behavior. He never denied it. Yet he still got elected in Enid. So celebrate what happened in Oklahoma County. Celebrate some of the things that happened all over state in Norman. Celebrate that. But be mindful that we still have work to do. The Garfield County Democrats pointed it out. They put heat on him. They made sure that the media was aware of it, but it takes more than that. We've got to run quality candidates against these folks. We've got to keep the pressure up, and it has to be long and sustainable. And we all need to help where we know it's happening. Now, this is our rebuilding year. This is the year where we practice. There aren't that many candidates running. And so you don't have to split your time between so many candidates. Now is the time. Pick a candidate. You guys haven't heard me say that in about 3 minutes, but pick a candidate and practice showing up to volunteer. Practice asking people to donate and donating yourself. Practice telling people about the candidate that you support. We've got to get in the habit, and this practice will establish you as someone who knows what they're talking about. So your peers will listen to them and not just listen to you, not just this election cycle, but in election cycles going forward. And you still have time to practice. It's not going to get rusty, because 3 weeks from yesterday or 20 days from today, there's another reason for you to show up at the ballot. That is the special ballot for adult use marijuana. That's going to be on the ballot on March 7th. That's 20 days from now. So I'm asking you to, if you haven't requested your absentee ballot, and you can do it that way, but that you mark your calendar, you ask for a time off, you plan how you're going to vote on that day. Plan how you're going to do it early. You're going to vote early in person on that week, but keep this energy going. It is so exciting. Okay. That's a lot. Yesterday, I gave you a lot of numbers. I threw numbers out there. It's just crazy. I'm not finished. I got numbers for today. So let me give you 3 numbers. 67, 67, 45, 45, and 16. Now, let me tell you what those are. There have been 67 mass shootings in 2023. Up through yesterday, there were 45 days in 2023. So the math of that works out to about 1 mass shooting every 16 hours in 2023 in the United States. So when we talk about what should we focus on, is our legislature focusing on the thing that's happening the most? 67 mass shootings in the 45 days of 2023, which works out to be about 1 mass shooting every 16 hours. And there were over 100 bills introduced in Oklahoma in this legislative cycle about guns. Now, you would think it would be about how we can make sure that our children are safe. You would think it would be how we can make sure that folks can go to college, the grocery store, to church, to elementary school, to the mall, to the park, and be safe. But this is Oklahoma, where during the state of the state, the majority of our Republican legislators wore AR-15 lapel pins. That's where we live. Talk about tone deaf. When we are at a state, at a position where in our nation, in the 45 days of this year, we've had 67 mass shootings. Mass shootings are defined as 4 or more folks affected by one shooter. We've had 67 mass shootings in the 45 days of 2023. That works out to be a mass shooting every 16 hours. We don't even go a full day. Every 16 hours, there's a mass shooting. And our legislators are showing up with AR-15 lapel pins. Our legislators are introducing more bills to try to figure out more places where we can show up with guns, more places where we can carry guns on the inside, more ways that more folks at a younger age committing more crimes can have access to firearms. We have to stop the madness. So this is one of those moments where we have to prove that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Education is a big deal in our state. It is absolutely all hands on deck. It's on fire, and we need to do something about it because our legislature is defunding education. But at the same time, they're also trying to figure out how we can have more guns everywhere. Sanctuary state, blah, blah, blah. Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. 67 mass shootings in the United States in the 45 days of 2023. And our legislature has introduced over 100 bills that are designed to figure out how more people can carry guns into more places and how many more exceptions we can make for this crime or that so we can still carry a gun. That's what's being introduced. That's what's going to be heard in this legislative session. So I asked you yesterday to call about the Commission on the Status of Women because we're number 51. I'm going to be asking you all through this legislative session on different issues to call about education, to call about the anti-trans nonsense that we're doing. But today, I'm asking you to call about the proliferation of non-common sense gun laws that are being introduced in our state in this legislative session. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. But we have to tackle it piece by piece and make sure that our voices are heard. Because if we don't let our voices be heard, there will be 100 types of exceptions made for 100 different places that people can carry guns. And yes, that's an exaggeration. There will be a lot more places where people can carry guns. There will be a lot more exceptions made for people who have been convicted of crimes. And there will be just a lot more proliferation of guns, just more guns than there are people, right? In America, there's 120 guns for every 100 people. I don't know why one needs to carry more than one firearm with them if they are not hunting, if they are not going to the firing range. More than one isn't about self-protection. But that's where we are, and got to drop a little truth. Okay, so today's numbers are 67, 45, and 16. Tell somebody. I need people to get engaged and mobilized around those numbers. 67 mass shootings in the first 45 days of 2023, which works out to be 16 a mass shooting every 16 hours. So, because we're talking about education and the trans bills and, the vouchers, the gun stuff might go under the radar, and we can't let it. So in addition to calling your legislator, I'm asking you to figure out how you can plug in and get involved in the party. If we have your phone number of any sort, you should have gotten a call from your county where they're going to be holding county elections. So you can figure out how to become a precinct officer and how to become a county officer so you can participate in the organization of our party. Check your email. If you didn't get an email from us, go onto our website and sign up, and we'll get you an email so you can get invited in the party. You guys have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4:15.